Hi, you guys. Leanne Holitza here. I am not at the healing studio today. The power is out. So I'm working from home. This is my spare bedroom. I was trying to find a way where there wasn't a glaring window. So, welcome into my house. Many of you have already figured out that if you go to YouTube and hit subscribe and the bell button, you will be able to comment earlier than on Facebook. And you also will get notified when I go live. So you can come and listen to your reading. I have various different I have a different list than maybe you guys are seeing because there's a couple different platforms coming in. So just FYI, I am doing this week for all of us. Then I will do a 1, 2, 3 for you to pick if you're watching later or if you're watching now, to get yourself your first card, and then we'll do individual cards as we have time. So hi everybody. Let's see, a couple of announcements that I want to make. The Healing Studio is kicking off a new thing if you're local. It's Friday Night Fun. We did our first one last Friday and it was actually great, and hanging out, just playing, talking, that kind of stuff. So it's free. And if you want to come and hang out, you absolutely can. We have an introduction to crystals that Crystal is teaching. We have an introduction to oracles in February that Crystal is also teaching. So if you're wanting to kind of get into this stuff yourself, I'm teaching energy awareness part 1 in March. That's going to dive a little bit deeper onto teaching you how to be your own healer and be your own kind of cleaner of your energy. You might check that out. We have our sound baths, our group healings are still happening. So lots of cool stuff happening at the studio again in 2023. So, all right, let's see. So if you haven't played before, you just need to put me please in the comments and I will get you a card. Ignore the trolls that come on sometimes that say private message me. That's not associated with me at all. So just give yourself, help there and don't get buy in. Okay. All right. So let's get started. Here we go. So for this week, we are first looking at, the trust, confidence, sideways thing. So what's that saying is that we're having some trouble feeling confident in ourselves and each other. It's been a lot of like murky energy for a while and lots of deception in the air, things like that. So I think this is starting to weigh on us of like, can I trust my own opinions? So just kind of be aware that might be popping up right now. For this week's focus or helper card, the transformation is sideways. What that is saying is, you can see this is the labyrinth. Okay. So the labyrinth, when you go through it, sometimes it feels like you're doubling back or you're not in the right place. You don't really know where you are in your journey. And what this is saying is, whether you try or not, you are always transforming. Okay. So this week, sink into the fact that even if you feel like you're going backwards, you're still progressing forward. There is only one direction in this lifetime, and reality is that way. Okay. End of the week. Okay. Devotion upside down. So it kind of seems like, this first full moon was pretty rough. There's a lot of conflict and a lot of struggle. This whole year is really about trying to clean up relationships as well, and including relationships with yourself. And this is basically saying there's some things in your space that just aren't matching your effort, is what I've been saying. And this devotion card is saying it's time to maybe get a little bit more clear with yourself about the fact that we are not necessarily required to let everyone in just because they ask to be let in. Okay. So just be aware that that's the message this week. Okay. So I'm using the Yantra deck because I'm at home, and that's my home deck and my primary deck that I use. Okay. So that's what I'm going to use even for your private readings. This month's stone, I don't have it with me right now, but it's called Appetite. And it's very good for goal setting. And we've got cute little hearts of it at the Healing Studio if you're wanting a little stone buddy to help you with your 2023 goals. All right, so we're going to do 1, 2, 3 first. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, so just check in with your heart. Which card is calling to you? And this is the beginning of your personal reading. If you hear a message that resonates and your name's not up on the screen, it still probably is for you. Sometimes the guides actually lump you guys together so they continue to say the messages they want to say. All right. So for those of you who picked one, you got generosity. It's a good week to be giving, even though we got the message that we're feeling a little guarded, a little bit unconscious. This card is saying the best way to get out of that is to go give what you would like to receive. Okay. If you picked 2, the blessings card is sideways. That's saying you don't have to accept every single thing that's handed to you. Not everything is a blessing. You can count your blessings. You can definitely have gratitude for the amazing blessings that you have, but not everything has to be a blessing. And it's okay to say no as a whole sentence to the things that are not serving you. Okay. For those of you who picked 3 this week, you're going to be pretty unaware of what's happening. A little into yourself, a little unconscious. That's okay. Sometimes we don't know what's happening and we just have to be aware that there's more information than what we're picking up on. Okay. All right, there we go. That's the start of it. So let me just kind of say to you guys, I'm going to come to you as fast as I can. And if, like I said, if a card comes and it resonates for you, it probably is for you. And just give yourself a chance to also recognize that that there's going to be some collective messages, some themes that start popping up. Okay. All right, Rob, you made it to the top of the list here. Your first card is stillness. Okay. Stillness and being aware sideways. Basically what this is saying is that this week would be an active practice of stillness. What that means is that you're not just being still like passively, but you are like carving out time to go be still and listen to your energy, listen to your body. This week would be a good week to be practicing stillness as an action. Okay. All right. Barbara. Ooh, your card just jumped out and flew on the floor. At a different desk. Just totally jammed my knee. Well, your card just really wants to be heard, Barbara. Goodness. You got 2 of them. Okay. You got support sideways and you got presence sideways. Okay. So what this is saying to me in a not so gentle fashion is that it's okay to not take on everybody else's energy. And just because they're saying they're trying to help doesn't mean that it is helpful to you. It's okay to say no to the help that isn't serving you. It's okay to be present with that stuff that is serving you. Okay. And listen, so you don't have to have your knee banged like mine. Oh, goodness. Okay, Robin. Your card is grace sideways. Okay. So what this is saying from your guides is that we don't have the answers for you this week. Okay. You have the answers yourself. There is nobody telling you what to do but you. There's some grace that can be requested. You can say to your guides, hey, I would like some, help to find myself. But first and foremost, your intentions are what is being requested. What do you want? Then the guides will help you. Okay. All right. Patty. Okay, Patty, if you would like, this card is honesty sideways. Okay, so this is basically saying this week is a week of looking at yourself and with honesty, looking at yourself with bravery about how you're limiting yourself. What kind of thoughts are you saying to yourself that are actually holding you back? This card, because sometimes it's really hard to be honest with ourselves, this card is basically saying, go be courageous, go be brave enough to look at yourself. Okay. So, and it's sideways. So that's it was an active ask. Okay. So do some, maybe even journaling and things like that. Okay, Miranda, you're getting some support this week. Things are balancing out for you. So that's actually really lovely given the messages that we've been getting, right? So give yourself just a little bit of space to realize that the support that you are asking for and requesting is starting to show up. Okay. Tiff, for you this week, you've got space upside down. So there's maybe feeling a little bit crowded and things, feeling a little bit like there's a request from you that maybe you can't meet. And that's okay to say no. Again, that message is definitely coming up. But also just acknowledge that maybe you could know that you put some of that stuff there. And if you want to take it out, go ahead. Okay. Cynthia, gratitude. Seeing a lot of triangles this week. Those are about relationships. So seeing this gift, but again, I think back to that message that we heard from, if you pick number 2, not everything has to be said yes to. Just because somebody's offering it to you as a gift doesn't mean that you have to say, oh, this is a gift. You can have gratitude for the intention while also still stepping back and saying, this isn't something that I want. I'm going to pass that through instead of keep it for myself. Okay. All right. Courtney, you've got communication sideways. What that is saying is be very careful with your words this week, okay? People might misunderstood. People might come forward in a way that doesn't make sense. Listen very carefully and communicate very carefully this week, okay? Be as impeccable as you can. Say only what you mean. Don't exaggerate, okay? Janelle and Donnie. Janelle, mirror sideways. Okay, so it seems like here's the theme I'm starting to see is that maybe there's some relationships in our lives that aren't necessarily serving us. And this card is saying, notice what is there and notice whether or not that matches up with what you want to be there and what you want to be giving your energy to. It's your life, it's your energy. So be sure to use your energy wisely and don't just give it away just because. Okay. Donnie, happiness upside down. This says being the source. This week you might forget how in charge of your happiness you are, and how your perceptions can be artificially, not in a toxic positive way, but artificially created into a positive light to help actually turn things into a positive light. So looking for the good in things, expecting positive intent, that kind of stuff. The happiness card upside down is basically warning you that you could get kind of negative this week. Okay. And Janice, contentment, recognizing the illusion of greener pastures. That when it's upside down is basically saying careful not to be saying if and when too much. Take responsibility for the way your life is right this minute. Be happy with that first, then go from there. Okay. This is a really big week, I think, for us to take a minute to recognize all the things that are kind of around us and what do we want to continue versus what do we want to kind of back off from. Maybe a little cleanup work. Kimberly. Oh, you got happiness right side up. Okay. So this week you're working on learning more and more about being the source of your own happiness, which is awesome. The people that come around you when you're happy, they want you to be happy. They support your happiness. They're not jealous of your happiness or anything along those lines. That's what you're asking for this week. Okay. Natalie. Boop. You got intentions upside down. Okay, so this week might be a little unclear. You might be a little unclear about what you want. You might be a little unclear about why you want it. So if that's the case, just give yourself some space, give yourself some peace, and don't worry too much about, worrying about whether or not it makes sense, because maybe it doesn't this week. Remember the labyrinth energy, right? So maybe this week is not the week to set clear intentions. Blossoming Lotus. This is your impeccability card. You're on the right track. Keep going. That's what that one says. Keep walking the path. Keep doing it. It's going to keep meeting your feet. You just trust it and trust that that's where you're meant to be headed. Okay. Kalina, for you this week, we've got intuition sideways. Okay. So what this is saying is that your perceptions and your intuition is only as light as you are. So if you're hearing really dense messages of fear or struggle, it might be time to go clean up your energy field a little bit and then listen to your intuition, because your intuition might not necessarily be what you're hearing when you're kind of in the denser spots. You might be just hearing your fear. So be careful about that. Okay, Michelle, you got attention sideways. Okay. So being here and now, what this is saying is that there might be some action for you to get fully present. You might want to do some releasing activities. So you release the past, you might bringing yourself to present time, not worrying about the future yet, just getting all the way into right now, but actively, kind of like Rob was getting active stillness, which almost sounds like, ironic but just coming into an activity of being fully present and mindful. Michaela, you got surrender upside down. This is not the week to surrender for you. This is not the week to hand over your power to someone else. This is a week for you to take action for yourself. So sometimes we want somebody else to take the wheel, and that's just not available to us. And so for you this week, it's all about you, and it's all about you making decisions on your own behalf. Okay. Aaron, you're on the right track. Okay. Impeccability. But it might make sense for you to acknowledge your successes, your own resilience, come back to listening to the fact that yes, you might be in this spot here, but there is a whole lot of stuff that brought you here that is strength and resonance with love and who you are. Okay. Okay. Nalani. Okay. Guyana. Okay. Nalani. You also got the impeccability card. So same thing. You're on the right track. You just keep in mind that you have all that you need inside of you. And if you need some sort of external resource, coming internal and asking for it from an internal trusting place is the ideal thing to do. Okay. Okay. Kiana, you got creativity sideways. What that is saying is that you are not necessarily understanding how much you're the instrument of your own life. And just kind of passion and desire and wisdom that you have about what you want to be doing with your time and energy, that's information about who you really are. So this week, try to see if you can find out where your creative self is and see what your creative self naturally wants to do. Okay. Okay, Jordan, you got truth and freedom this week. So this is a call to remember not to tell yourself anything but the truth and only the truths. Okay, so giving yourself a space to acknowledge that sometimes we do scare the crap out of ourselves. We give ourselves these nightmares instead of daydreams, right? And so this week, Jordan, you're being asked to tell yourself the truth about what's happening and notice where sometimes you're just scaring yourself. Okay, Nicole and Seth. Nicole, stillness, okay? Actively stillness, similar to Rob's message. Get actively into a stillness. That way you can hear yourself. That way you can hear the truth and get more aware of what's going on. When you're too busy, you're too dense. Okay. Seth. Okay, you are getting some guidance from your guides this week. So listen to that guidance. It may come across as a subtle little hint, and it may come across as someone saying, read this book 3 times. Okay. Whatever it is, pay attention. Your guides are talking loudly. They're sitting right there wanting you to hear them. There's that story of the Joan of Arc where Joan of Arc is, the king says, I'm the king. I want to be able to hear the voices. Why do you get to hear the voices? And Joan of Arc says, well, you're just not listening. The voices are coming to you too. So that's kind of what the message is for you this week, Seth. All right, Heather, you got patience sideways. Okay. So this is being still on the bottom. So that seems like the message might be this week, you guys, active stillness, on purpose stillness, meditation, mindfulness, slow it down. Be patient because this is not the time that everything's going to come to fruition yet. And it's okay. If you force it too soon, you'll get what you don't want. Okay. So patience. Christy and Kira. Christy, trust. Okay. Be confident that you, that card came up earlier, obviously. So if you picked it at the beginning and it's coming up now, this is being confident it can be a challenging thing when there's all the contrary stuff going on around us, but it's okay for you to acknowledge that inside yourself, you get to know yourself first. And as you love yourself more, the world rises to meet you. All right, Kira. Oh, you and Seth can hang out with your guides this week. Okay. So the grace card is coming up and that says basically you are getting guided. Your guidance is coming through all kinds of different ways. Listen carefully. Okay. And listen with grace. You don't have to do everything your guides say, but it'd be good to at least listen. Okay. Sam, you got a simplicity card, being here and now. This says basically, get it a little bit more simple. I'm even seeing clean up some clutter, pick a drawer, pick a cabinet, clean it out, make it organized, make it have space for you. Okay. So this week is keeping things a little simpler just so that you have the energy to get done what needs to be done. Lisa, you got power sideways. Okay. So that is asking you to check out where are you leaking power, in particular, where you're letting your thoughts go that are not necessarily fulfilling you in a positive way. So this week, power leak, check out where are you spending time talking about things, worrying about things, etc. Okay. Gina, Gina, you got space sideways. Okay, so that is similar to the stillness card and similar to this keep it simple card. It's time to actively make some space, actively find that you're infinite in everything that you're doing, but you also are, the more time you spend on something, the more focus that you have on something, the more it grows. And if you're focusing on only problem solving, then guess what? You have lots of problems to solve. But this week it says, clean that up a bit. Okay. Kelly. Okay, you guys, I can't make this stuff up. Stillness is coming again, this time right side up for you. So obviously the message is for all of us this week, active stillness. Maybe we should do that for just a second. There you go. Took just a second. Okay, so a little time to just be still. You'll actually get way more done. You'll have way more energy. Okay, Sonia. Inhale sideways. Okay, so this is saying back to that message about you don't have to say yes to every gift that's given. You can be grateful that somebody has an intention of gifting to you, but just because they want to give it to you doesn't mean you have to accept it. Okay, so this card this week is receive the things that are useful and go ahead and gently say no to the things that are not. Okay, all right, Tanya and Betty Ann. Tanya, get inspired this week. Find some things that make you enthusiastic. Get out there, see what makes you have, joy for life, that kind of thing. And Betty Ann, you're going to also want to keep it simple. Clean out that closet, do something to actively bring more space to your life. It doesn't have to be complicated. And actually, every problem is solved with a step by step. And nothing can be done as a whole. So just go take it back to a smaller place. Okay. Andrea, liberation upside down, little internet glitch there. Sorry. Andrea, that says that's my money card. And when it's upside down, it's saying you're too focused on it. It's eating you up in a way that is not actually driving you forward. So be careful about that. Detach a little bit from how it's going to come and why it's going to come, and just get back in the intention of knowing that it will. Okay. Kim, devotion. So for you this week, focus on and keep your energy on the things that you love and that you want to be there long term. Spend a little extra time saying hello to the friends you love. Spend a little extra time cleaning up the area that is of your house that feels sacred to you, that kind of stuff. Okay. So this week, be devoted to yourself and your life. Heidi, communication sideways. Okay. So the way that this is coming through is that it's going to be very important for you to be careful with your words. Okay. So we heard this earlier for Courtney. Calm down, go slow, listen, careful when you're talking and listening from a reactive space. Try not to build a story into places where there is not a story. Just listen. Okay. Deanna. Taking things too seriously, my dear. Laughter, being playful sideways basically says laugh a little bit more, play a little bit more, get outside a little bit more. I know it's cold here, but it's going to be so much easier if you can just kind of lighten up the load by giggling, laughing, being a little bit more light this week. Okay. Stephanie, upside down enthusiasm, being inspired. Okay, so this week for you, it's to see what's uninspiring you or inspiring you to be fearful. Okay, so check out if there's something that is leading your consciousness in a way that does not feel super helpful. Okay. Okay. Sandra. Okay, Sandra, you're on the right track. We've seen this card a bunch, so really we are all on the right track, but this is a time to just keep going forward. Do what's yours to do. What you focus on grows. This week, be impeccable with your footsteps. Walk where you want to go, okay? And know that every step you take towards that thing that you want right now is building up a story for you, a story of happiness, resilience, enoughness. So do it wisely and mindfully, okay? Safari Spirit. You got 2 cards, you got attention upside down, and you got courage upside down. This is basically saying that this week you will be tempted into major low frequency thoughts, limiting thoughts, fearful thoughts, and this, not present in the actual true here and now. So be aware of that. Okay. And maybe keep a journal of how your emotional state is this week. And just see if can be in a just kind of gentle nudge upward. Not a fake emotions, but Okay, CC. Oh, it's a good integrity week for you. just be yourself and the world will meet you. That's actually just a very simple message. It's super, super light and beautiful. So good job. Okay, Carrie. And you guys, I'm getting to the bottom of the list here, which is awesome. If you're hanging out and you haven't done so and you want a card, you got to type me please into the comment section. That just gives me permission to publicly give you a card. Okay, Carrie, your card is clarity. Okay, so a little more information is going to come this week. Go deeper with it, but don't fill in the blanks yourself. Listen and see what starts to reveal itself a little more fully, okay? All right. Kristen, it's a kindness week for you. So a week to just act with love, be kind, and then see that get returned, okay? Because a lot of times we are pushing ourselves and we're just taking on how other people are behaving. We don't have to do that. This week, just get in that kind heart of yours. I know it's a big one. Okay, JD, you got Excel sideways. Okay, so that card is saying that it's not time to surrender, similar to kind of what Michaela heard, which is it's not time for you to surrender. It's time for you to make the choices, focus the action. Yes, you have to breathe in and out in order to move forward. So don't forget to do both. Let go, bring in, do, let and be, that kind of thing. But it's important for you to do and do what you want to do. Okay. Pam, you got evolution upside down. Things are not going to be blossoming for you this week, and that's okay. We saw that transformation labyrinth saying we're stuck. Just because we feel we're stuck does not mean we are. Things are always moving forward, but this week might just give yourself a little space to feel stagnant. Okay. This too shall pass. Eat 100 foods. Focus, get centered, okay? But this is an action position, so it means that you want to actively get focused, actively get centered, jot down some goals, jot down how you're going to meet those goals, that kind of thing. So get a little bit into alignment with that. All right, Heidi. And you guys do be sure to, I always try to figure out, whoop, boop. That's where your name is showing up. So sometimes there's more than one Heidi or more than one Gina. Just see it. Again, if it resonates, though, it's still probably for you. All right. Generosity sideways for you, Heidi. What that says is you don't have to give anything to this week. You can actually hold on just for yourself. It's okay for you to have what you have. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to give it away. Okay. So back up a little bit. All right. Don't just, sometimes when we feel like we have abundance, we just feel like we have to give it. Amber, give me a me, please, if you want a card, okay? Gina, truth for you this week, choosing freedom. Again, we saw this about something else for somebody else. This is like careful how you fill things in, careful what you say to yourself, careful what you do as far as your energy goes, okay? And tell yourself the truth. Don't fill in the blanks with things that are not true, okay? Oh, Amber, you got it. You got a me, please there. All right, Amber, this is week for you to look for integrity leaks where you're not being authentic, you're not being true because you think you need to. Okay, so just FYI, that is not necessarily going to help anybody if you hide who you are. But this week, just be on the lookout for all the masks that you're wearing and see if you want to maybe change that up a little bit. Okay. Barbara, I did read for you at the very beginning. If you need to go back and listen, you're pretty much at the beginning of the whole thing. Sonia and Torin. Sonia, attention. Be very present this week. Just pay attention. That a lot of times that means eyes open, mouth shut. Okay, so just see what's showing up. Torin, for you, we've got, I shuffled, I swear. Okay, so you both are working on just be present. Be as hyper-focused as you would be if you were like climbing a sheer rock face. Just got to pay attention to where the next handhold goes, right? You can't think about, what you're making for dinner or, what party you're attending next week. You got to just think about going forward. So that's what you're being asked to do, both of you. Okay. Crystal, of course I have time for you. Here's your support card. This is you filling in the blanks for yourself. Giving and receiving, giving where you want to give, receiving where you want to receive, saying yes to what you want to, and no to what you don't. Okay. All right, we got two crystals here, but I'm getting to you, Crystal B as well. All right, Sandra's asking for a Tim Howard card. Okay, Tim, He's still working on figuring out support. So I put that back in. This is what Crystal just got. It's sideways. So it says actively. It might take some time to go look for support. Actually get involved in looking for support, whether it be a support group, getting, inviting some friends out to lunch, asking for help this week. That's going to be important. Crystal, you got exhale upside down. And what I am hearing with this is, where are you trying to control everything? Where are you white knuckling it all? This card is basically saying that these cards say something different for everybody because I'm listening to your guides. And what I'm hearing for you is that you are holding your breath for things to change or things to be different. And you are also trying to control how that happens. And it might be time for you to take a breath in, to give to yourself, oxygen mask on yourself. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense for whatever you're going through. All right, you guys, I think we did it. If you're still hanging out, I am grateful for all of you that you spend some little bit of time with me on Sundays. If you want to see me again, like I've said before, go to my YouTube page is the best place to go. Hit subscribe and the bell button, and then kind of join right at the beginning there or a little early and get your me pleases in. I get to as many as we can. So far, I've always gotten to everybody. So that's awesome, except for people that pop on afterwards. But all right, you guys, go be amazing. I'll see you later.